This time I'm going to find the mass of object number 1 that is going to have an inelastic collision with another object. So I'm going to use conservation momentum. So my momentum initial is going to equal my momentum final. So if both objects are moving before the collision, I have mass 1, velocity 1 initial, plus mass 2, velocity 2 initial. I have the arrows over the velocities because they could end up being in the positive or negative direction. After they collide, they stick together. So I have mass 1 plus mass 2. And they move together with the same velocity, and that will be velocity final. So I would like to know or solve for mass number 1. So on the right hand side, I'm going to have to distribute my final velocity. So I'll get there. So I end up with mass 1 velocity final plus mass 2 velocity final. I'm going to collect all terms with mass 1 on one side, and collect all terms without mass 1 on the other side. So I'm going to add from the right hand side, or subtract from the right hand side, mass 1 velocity final, and I'm also going to subtract that from the left hand side. So I'll end up with mass 1 velocity 1 initial minus mass 1 velocity final. And I'm going to subtract mass 2 velocity initial, velocity 2 initial. I wrote velocity initial 2, same difference from both sides. So I have mass 2 velocity final minus mass 2 velocity 2 initial. Now I'm going to factor out mass number 1 from the left hand side, mass 1 velocity 1 initial minus, well, let me clean that up a little bit, minus velocity final equals mass 2 velocity final minus mass 2 velocity 2 initial. So I'm going to end up dividing by that quantity, so I end up with mass 1 equals mass 2 velocity final minus mass 2 velocity 2 initial, which I remember from the other screen. And here I will have velocity 1 initial minus velocity 1 final. So there it is.